This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in our previous class, we're understanding what is Pega and what we can do with Pega. And additionally, yesterday we have seen what is the real project what we'll cover in our course. And that is completely related to insurance. So in that particular project, we have seen lot many CSA, CSSA related requirements, and which includes all the front-end stylings, back-end related logics, and database related concepts and web services, all these things. So that is the project what you have to do in this particular course period. And next, as I told you, we will be covering one more project related to hospital. So let us see what is that project also. And this is completely the different related project. So yesterday's project is for insurance and this project is for medical related, healthcare related. So these two are very, very important projects. And additionally, in our particular course, we will be covering with the third project where we'll start everything from the zero, considering you don't have any prior experience, considering you don't know anything about Pega or IT field. From there, we'll help you with all CSA, CSSA related concepts. These three projects are to be done as it is, daily assignments and mock interviews. Once you follow this exercise for 3 months, 100% you are supposed to be in a good position. So let us see what is the second project is all about. So second project is completely related to medical, meaning healthcare. Suppose if you are working in Apollo Hospital, so you'll be working like an either doctor or nurse or some kind of HR, right? Suppose consider you are as the head nurse, registered nurse. Now, as a patient, if I call you, then you are supposed to ask for few details and then book one medical appointment for. So that is the project what we are trying to implement now. So this project, maybe Apollo Hospitals, that is our actual client, right? So Apollo Hospitals, what they wanted to do, they wanted to develop those internal applications. Those are internal. I cannot use that as a patient. You are working in that organization, right? So you are supposed to work on that. So internal applications are to be developed by the Pega developers like us, and Apollo Hospitals, they are purchasing Pega license and they are handovering it to some software company. So as a software developer, you will be designing all the screens as per business analyst document. So business analyst, they will be giving you the detailed document like this, even for project 2, and you will be designing. After that, it has to be finally reaching to the Apollo Hospital server. That is what, right? So you are developing, sitting in so and so software company, and that has to be reaching to the final employees, final uh, hospital employees. So for that deployment process is what we are supposed to understand. Slowly we'll see this. So let us see what is this project all about. And again, everything will be decided based on the requirements. Requirement 1, 2, 3, all this. So as a Pega developer, you are supposed to give some estimates for each and every requirement. So once you give the estimate, business analyst, they will be confirming our plan, sprint plan. Based on that, they will decide whether we have to load extra developers or not, or whether we can complete this with the current developers in 3 months time or not. So that is what to be decided. Meaning on the day one, once you join the company, you are supposed to get this document and you have to analyze it thoroughly. How many requirements are there, how to do that, how much time will it take. So you have to thoroughly analyze this. So let us see requirement after requirement, and then we'll understand how much time will it take, how to do, and all other things. So consider you are a nurse, so you will be logging here, right? So you will go to Apollo Hospital at 9 o'clock and you will log in. If a patient like me calls you, you are supposed to do something, right? So You have to understand what is the first screen we have to get. So it will be clearly mentioned that once we log in, this should be the default screen. After that, if a patient is calling, then you have to book some appointment for him. For that, you have to collect a few details and what is his problem. Okay, whether he is looking for surgery appointment or normal consultation appointment, with what doctor, and is that related to cardio or neurology. So all these details they are supposed to collect. So this is what the screen by default they have to get. So once I call you as a patient, you will be getting this screen in your laptop. So here you will be collecting few details just like in registration. So you will be asking what is the first name. Based on the gender you will select this. What is the first name, what is the family name, and what is age. And that to age again comes into picture. If it is more than 70 years, it has to be redirected to special doctors who deals with senior citizens. If it is less than 5 years, it has to be sent to again special doctors who deals with the small people. So based on this based on this age, what should happen, what should be the first name, everything will be clearly defined in this document. As I told you, document you will be getting mock-up screen as well as the widget table. So within that mock-up we'll be having some fields, right? So how that field should be, okay, so what type of data it has to accept, everything will be mentioned clearly in that widget table, so that you have to clearly understand. And then we are selecting some gender. So I'm calling you as a patient, you are doing all these things, and you will be collecting my mobile number and you will be collecting my email ID. After that, you are asking me who is the patient. So all these are caller details. Whoever is calling, we are collecting those details. And below, you are supposed to ask who is the patient. If I say like I am the patient, you'll select this. Okay. And here we have to define the exact Google Maps location from where he is calling. That we have to do it later. So here you have to understand who is the patient. If I'm saying like I am the sole patient, you'll select this. Or I can able to take an appointment for my family members, right? I might not be patient. I can take appointment for my family members. Then if I say the same, you'll select this option. So there are multiple patients and I am one among them. So meaning I wanted to take appointment for 4 members including me. In that case, you have to select this option. So again, patient details is what we are collecting. So considering I am one among them, meaning they have already collected my details above. So those details will be blindly copied below. So since I am selecting this, I am one among them, my details also will be copied. And we should be getting an option to select multiple patients here. So if I click on add patient, one more segment should be visible, which should be blank by default. And if I wanted to give some other patient details, again click on add button, third segment should be added, and one more thing, fourth, and one more thing, fifth, likewise n number of times it has to be added. So drag and dropping all these things is very easy. And once we click on add patient, so how we have to show the next segment, how we have to show it for 4 times, 5 times. Suppose if I don't want to go with this, just click on delete, that will be deleted. Again click on delete, again click on delete. So how to include something like delete action, and on clicking on add patient, how it has to be added again. All these things we implement without coding, without we write coding. So with other technologies, implementing this is very, very difficult. Difficult meaning it takes very long time. But in Pega, as said, everything is automated. Just to design this one screen, With other technologies will take minimum 2 weeks of time, and this whole process involves at least two front-end developers, two back-end developers, and for validations there should be one more part, right? So if you are joining any company as a beginner, then they will be giving you these kind of front-end tasks, or else they might be giving you something related to validation part. Suppose if I enter mobile number here, it should not be more than 10 numbers. It should not be more than 12 numbers, or it should start only with +1. So likewise, limitations will be there, no? So those limitations comes under validations. So there will be some part where you have to implement validations also. So that kind of tasks will be again separately given for you accordingly. So we have to understand how we can implement these kind of things without coding in Pega. So what are we selecting? There are multiple patients. You are nurse and I am talking to you. There are multiple patients and I am one among them. That is the reason. First details will be copied and rest all will be blank. Suppose if I select something like there are multiple patients and I am not among them. So if I select this, what should happen? There are multiple people and I am not, meaning my details should not be copied, right? So if I select this radio button, how to clear the below fields? If I select this above radio button, second radio button, how to copy the fields? And if I click on this, how to hide all the things? All this comes under front end work. So front end work, we can simply drag and drop. Post that how to implement these kind of actions. Everything is very important and 100% real-time tasks for you. So you have to understand each and everything. What should happen if we click on add button? Suppose if I click on add patient now, again same segment, and anywhere my details are not there, since I am not an patient, correct, right? So in this way you have to understand. Suppose if I click on delete, those details are to be deleted, that segment has to be deleted. If I am selecting this one, I am the solo patient. So this is the screen number one. So how to implement this screen number one, how many developers you require, and how long you will take, and when will you give this for testing team for testing, all these analysis you have to define. Suppose if you give it like 1 day or 2 days, and if it is not completed in time, you will be blamed. So straight away business analysts, they'll blame you. Why did you give wrong efforts? Why did you not analyze properly? So I'll be getting a lot of escalations from the client. You should be answerable. Please join today's client call. I'll not talk anything. You have to answer this. So these kind of things you'll get. So meaning on the day one itself, you are supposed to clearly analyze. Analysis is very important. So once you get this document, you can take maybe 2 days or 3 days or even 4 days time also for the analysis. No one will question you, why are you taking this much time? So ultimately you are the person who has to develop, right? So you have to give the proper efforts, estimates, and if required you have to say like I want 4 more developers, else I can't do it in 2 days or 2 weeks. You have to stand on that point strictly, else you will be questionable. Fine. So in this particular screen, we have to understand how to implement these kind of things, and how to implement these radio button functionalities, and add patient meaning how to add, delete meaning how to delete, how to implement this Google Maps. So by default, it has to show the current location. So you can see the arrow showing up current location. How to implement this current location behavior, how to implement Google Maps, all these things we'll understand. With other technologies, it will take very long time. Implementing Google Maps meaning, again some integrations, all these things will be there. But in Pega, it will not take more than 2 days generally, including testing everything. It should not take more than 2 days. With other technologies, minimum 2 weeks. So that level of automation is done here. Fine. So this is what we are seeing in the screen number one. So in screen number one, what are you doing? when I call you as a patient, you are collecting few details from me. Who is patient? From where are you calling? What are your basic details? Okay, and what are the list of patients? All these things. And if you see here, there is something like logged in with the name. So you are using this application as a nurse. So logged in as meaning your name is what you'll see. Okay, so if you are a nurse, you will use this, right? Your name is what you'll see, and your time of login, at what time you are logging in, that's what you'll see. So again, this requirement, how to do. So if you are trying to log in, or if I'm trying to log in, if we both are nurse, if I'm trying to log in, what Pega has to do, this has to identify whether I am actually correct employee or not. No, it will check, and it will be identifying what is my name, and that name has to be posted here. That name has to be posted, meaning here this data will be getting it from database table. If I log in, it will check whether this is correct person or not. So validation will be happening based on database table. So Pega will be maintaining some database in the background. It will be validating whether I am correct employee or not, and the password what I enter is correct or not, right? So it will be validating with something called database table. So database table meaning SQL queries. So Pega is trying to interact with the database table. SQL queries are automatically executing, and it is trying to pull the current person's name. So in order to get this current person's name, in other technologies we have to write SQL queries, but here automated, you need not write single SQL query. Everything can be by default fetched out, and at what time this is getting created, meaning my server or system time, that has to be copied, right? It is showing in some other time zone, US time zone, so it has to be showing up in this format. So how to get this person's name and what is the time, all these things we have to understand. Everything will be clearly documented in this business analyst document. Fine. So in the screen number 1, we are collecting patient details, and in the screen number 2, they are asking one more question. If you are a clerk, so if you are a nurse, you are asking me one more question. Is language assistance required? Suppose I am currently staying in Delhi, let us consider. I don't know proper regional language there. Then I am taking an appointment and I am asking for language assistance. So I don't understand proper their language, I want some kind of a translator or something. So if I select yes, so what is the language preference? I can go for English. And what is the written preference? I can go for English. Then is interpreter required, meaning they will be providing one translator for me there. So accordingly, if I don't require, if I say no, they will mark it like no. After that, they're asking me for type of consultation. So is this like online, or will I be coming direct to walk in or not? Suppose if I'm going for online, we are supposed to show one screen. So you are nurse, right? You will be selecting this. Whatever the message you see, you'll straight away read to me. So once you select the date and date, automatically Zoom link will be selected, sent accordingly the respective things. After that, if I wanted to go like an in-person, if we select this, then we'll be getting some other segment showing up. What is the purpose of you visiting? So we are having two options. Is that like in general consultation, or is that like in surgery? Suppose if I select a surgery, I'm going for a planned surgery, let us consider. Then here it is asking me what will be the planned date. So I should be selecting only future dates, right? If I'm selecting planned date as the past, it has to throw the error. So what should be the error? Again will be decided by your business analyst. You should not give your own type of design. So they will be deciding what should be the error and what size, what format, everything. So we are supposed to select some future date. If I select some future date, Then on that particular date I have to check whether rooms are available or not, right? So if I click on this button, show rooms availability button, what should happen? It has to show all the available rooms for that date, correct? No, for that date, meaning on clicking on this button it has to interact with the database table. No, all my data will be there in the table, so it has to be interacting with the database table, and for that particular date it will be checking the number of available rooms. So again SQL query, what it will take care, we did not write anything. So if I click on this one, it will be showing the data in some pictorial form. As I told you, for pictorial form, Tableau what we generally rely on, but here you need not go for any extra software, so reporting is also completely included. Now if I click on this button, for this particular date it is identifying how many rooms are booked for that day, how many available rooms, how many occupied, all these things I am seeing in some pictorial form. Occupied showing it like around 55 I guess, and booked almost like 20 or 19. Available there are 35 place or 30 place. Based on this graphs I can get some picture, and here I should be understanding what should be the room to be selected. So if I wanted to go for single room, just mark this, and accordingly if you click on submit button, what should happen? This room has to be allotted for me, right? Meaning if second patient like you, if they're calling again nurse, they should not get this 105 room available, no? Understand, right? So they should not get this 105 room available. So now if I click on submit button, available rooms, suppose if it is having 100 now, it has to be reduced with 1, no? So again database related operations you have to implement. Again inbuilt, you need not write again any query. So that will understand how to delete one record, how to insert without you writing single query. Fine. And suppose if you are going for double bedroom, 302 is the number what you are selecting, and here you have to select the number of guardians accompanying you. Okay, so with you how many extra people are coming? Suppose if you select something like 2 or 3, that is fine. And you have selected single room, and if you are selecting 10 members, that should not be allowed. So once you click on 10, it has to check what is the type of room. If it is like suite room, okay, allowed. If it is like single room, you have to get one pop-up saying like you have selected single room, guardians more than 2 people are not allowed, so please check for the guardians count. So this kind of error. So all this comes under front end work as well as database work. You need not write coding anywhere. So whatever the value you select, that will be automatically showing up here, that number. Okay, fine. If I select 1, that should be showing up. So in the screen number 1, what are we doing? We are collecting basic patient details. Who is patient? How many patients? And in the screen number 2, what is the date and what is the type of consultation, either online or in person, and how many people accompanying, what is the room, all these things. And in the next screen, what are we seeing? In the next screen, we are understanding what is the department he is looking for. So he is going for just in surgery or normal appointment. Under what category? Is he going for cardiology or ENT or A, B, C? That options we have to select here. Suppose I wanted to go for these 3 or these 3. Then this particular information will be again getting here. Suppose if I click on this about this, that related information I can able to read it. Okay, suppose I am patient and I am taking one appointment with you. So you are asking me what should be the department. I am selecting or I am saying like cardiology. Then you will suggest me saying like with cardiology you have to take some anesthesia also. So you will be saying this importance with me. You will mark this. In this process, you will straight away read the data from here. If I ask you what is it, you have to be in a position, right? So you should not refer to Google by that time, or you should not open any books. So whatever the data you wanted to share, that should be straight away included here. Suppose if I call one Airtel customer care, straight away they'll say like, welcome Chandra, how can I help you? This is so and so. So greetings for the day. So they'll be giving some welcome note, right? So whatever the message they wanted to read, everything will be clearly hard coded. So for that, we'll be using this blue color screen. Here they'll be getting straight away the message. So welcome to Airtel. So this is so and so. How can I help you? In the next screen. So thank you for sharing this previous screen details. So how can I help you for this broadband connection? Whatever the thing they are reading, they're seeing on the screen and showing. So they will not spontaneously say anything, because that particular call should be very in short time, and it should be very productive. So they should not read the bad content, right? So that is the reason they will be all the time getting that data straight away. So if I click on this one, its related content will be straight away showing. If I click on this one, its content will be showing. Suppose your Apollo hospital, they are giving one more requirement, that is like add four more. Already they are included in 20 departments, and they are expanding their business, and they wanted to include four more options, and that will be done by again a Pega developer, correct? No, so that has to be done by a Pega developer. In that scenario, you will not hard code anything here. If I'm a Pega developer, I have to add one more option below. I have to add its department, and if I click on about this, its related information has to be showing, right? So that information will not hard code generally. So if I click on this data will get from database table. If I click on this, again database table. If I click on this, it's related database table. So how to link our front end screen with the database, how to get the data from there. So all these things we have to clearly understand. So designing something, we should be very generic, so we'll understand all these things. So here I am selecting few options. Okay, fine. After that, once I select these departments, we have to go for some medical tests, right? So what are all the tests you wanted to undergo? So that is the option I am seeing. So these are all the default tests what you have to take care. Whatever might be the department, these are the default tests. Additionally, if I wanted to go for something extra, you can go. Or if I select all the things are to be selected. If I'm selecting this, only default things are to be selected. Additionally, if I wanted to select any extra, you can just mark this. How to include all these things, everything we have to understand. So if you observe, there is space between two checkboxes with this. If my business analyst is asking reduce the space, how to do? Okay. Or if I wanted to include fifth row also, everything should be of equal space, how to do? All these things you have to understand. You'll understand everything slowly. Fine. Now in this particular screen, we are selecting what is the department and what should be the tests. And if we click on submit button, next screen is asking for the appointment. So you have selected so and so date. For that date, you have to give the appointment also, right? So you cannot come early in the morning or late in the night. So there should be some appointment. So here we have to select only time. Generally, if we click on calendar, we'll get all the dates also. But this calendar should show only time. How to do that? You have to understand. And let me select this one, and between this I'll come. Maybe some option what you have to select. So you'll be selecting the appropriate time. Suppose if it is like a daily treatment, you should be taking daily appointments. So you will be selecting the surgery date, department, tests, and that exact time. And here you have to give separate extra complaints. So if I click on add complaints, we should be giving some extra information, recently affected with typhoid or COVID. So these kind of extra information is what you have to share. So you will be sharing separate extra information. Why? Because these details are now collected by nurse. Next, it has to be going for the doctor, right? If I go for the doctor appointment, he should know everything. So he should be giving medication considering all these factors. So I'll be entering all the details. So COVID or option 1, option B accordingly. So likewise, you have to include all these things. So appointment and additional complaints is what I'm defining. And once we click on submit button, next screen, what are we collecting? So in the next screen, we are seeing all these are the current details what he has given in screen number 1. Now, if he wants to update, so you are nurse here, once you come to this screen, you will confirm this is your email ID, this is your name, this is your language, this is your mobile number. Do we want to proceed with this or not? This will ask. So if I click say okay, you'll continue. If not, you should update it, right? So I wanted to update with something different, or I wanted to update my mobile number. Immediately these data will be updated. So once I change the value, how this has to be updated in the database table? Again, without query, you have to understand. And if I'm changing this, immediately how this has to be updated in the backend database table. So without you writing single SQL query, you can do all this. Fine. So I have updated all the details. Now, if we click on submit button, next screen. So next screen, what we are doing? Till now we have collected department name, test name, appointment, surgery date, time, all these things. Additionally, we are supposed to collect his medical documents also. So nurse, as a nurse, you are doing this. After that, maybe tomorrow I'll come to doctor's appointment. These particular things are to be showing for the doctor. Doctor will just ask me by hospital ID. So once he's searching for my hospital ID, he has to see all the details what we are entering. And additionally, he has to get our medical reports also. Correct, right? So he has to get medical reports also. Now, medical reports, attached document, if we click on this button, who will click? Nurse will click. So if they are clicking, documents are to be attached. So these documents are with me, right? So before that, they will ask me, please share all the documents to this particular email ID. So once I share for this email ID, they will download and they will upload from here. This is what their task, not ours. So if I click on this one, so how to get this screen? Very easy. And we have to select the appropriate files. So I have selected the respective medical document, and this is of what category? Is this a prescription, or is this something like a ECG report, or is this something related to blood reports? So accordingly, we will be collecting all the necessary documents. Once I click on attach, you have to observe that there will be one table created. Under attachments button, there is nothing showing up for now. If I click on attach, one table has to be created. Meaning on clicking on submit button earlier, details are to be posted into database and it has to show it here. So how to add this particular grid, and this is the document name, this is the document type, and what time I'm attaching this. So my server time is what it is picking up. So this time is different and this time is different. You can see fraction of milliseconds difference. Correct, right? And who is uploading this? So technically we call it like CSR, customer service representative. So we are calling it like normal nurse, right? But technically we have to call them as CSRs. Okay, if you are calling Airtel, who will answer? CSRs, customer service representatives. In our office, in our Pega language, we call users as CSRs. You have to understand that. So who is the CSR name? Whoever is logging in. So if second nurse is logging in, their name has to be fetched out. Fine. So once the documents are collected, next we are collecting some declarations. That is like we have to agree terms and conditions. By default, we have to agree all the terms, right? So for that, we have to mark this option. So if I mark this option, how we have to make all the below things checked up. If I'm unchecking this, how we have to make this unchecked. So in interest, they'll ask you. Suppose if I just mark this checkbox, below there are four. All the four are to be selected. How you will do? This is very easy, you can say it. If you say the solution, then they will ask you. Suppose if there are 2000 such options, how do you do that manually? Suppose what you'll say, if I just mark on this one, below there are 5 for now. You'll say like, I'll just make first one as true, second one as true, third one as true. So you'll say that I will be making everything true automatically in the backend. But if there are 2000 below, or if there are 5000 options below, how do you do this? Will you be marking everything manually? Very difficult, right? How to do this? So these kind of questions they'll ask. So straight away they'll be just asking whether you have done all the requirements or not. If so, how did you implement this requirement? And if that option is having 2000 below options, how can you implement that? So will you do that manually, or if so, automatically? How to do this? All these questions they'll ask. Fine. Now I'm selecting this, and automatically all this will be selected. And below we are supposed to include one signature. Signature meaning CSR signature. So I'm defining some CSR signature. If you want it to clear, you can clear it, or you can proceed with that. So submit. So what is happening so far? CSR, let's talk technically from now on. CSRs, they are collecting all the details from the patient, like blood reports, everything. And finally, they are coming to this particular screen. Declarations, everything is done. So here, as a patient, if I'm requesting some extra data, so I got the appointment and now I'm asking them, so is there any extra service near you related to dermatology? Or is there anything related to you related to diabetes? If we just ask anything, then here we'll be giving some options. Suppose if they're asking something about health tips, if as a patient, if I'm asking you regarding this, you should be selecting this option and click on this one. So immediately its related health tips are to be opened. So what they have to read the content, that should be straight away included. So if they're asking something related to weight loss, select this and click on this one. Weight loss related tips are to be opened. Okay. If they're asking something related to this one, so what should happen? On clicking on submit button, this view tips button, there is one website opening. So that website depends upon the option what we are selecting. So how to get this website linked with this one? All this we have to understand. So additional info is done. Next, we are trying to give some invoice related things. So as a representative, I should be selecting my name. If you are logging in, your name has to be displayed. If I log in, my name. So SQL query has to be generated here. So I'm selecting this one, and automatically my email ID and my CSR ID both will be fetched out. In your case, if you are having your own name here, if you select that, your email ID and CSR ID needs to be fetched from the database table. So let me submit this, and final appointment booking is done. This is the review screen. So final appointment is done. So once the final appointment is done, next what they have to do, as a CSR, as a nurse, you will say like your appointment is confirmed, so please come on the scheduled time to meet the doctor. So you are coming on the next scheduled date, you will directly go to the doctor, right? So doctor, what he will do, he will ask for your hospital ID. So this will be your hospital ID. So once I am trying to register a new customer or take a medical appointment, one ID will be created. So this will be your ID. So CSR, they will be sharing you one reference number, right? So this is the reference number. So with this reference number, what you will do? You will directly go to the hospital and meet the doctor, and you will select this is the hospital number. So doctor, what he will do? Now consider I am doctor. I have to log in and check, right? So let me log in as a doctor. So if I log in as a doctor, doctor he has to check all his schedules. Now I logged in as a doctor, then I have to see all my appointments for today, right? And I should be seeing appointments for last 7 days or last 20 days. So how this screen should be looking like? Again, you have to design as a Pega developer. So there will be something like my appointments, and if we click on this one, all the appointments so far he can able to see. So this is what we have just created, if you remember. So this is the hospital ID what we have created, and if we click on this one, that will be open. He can see all the attachments, surgery date, all the details what CSR has entered. He can see it here, all appointments so far. And today's appointment, we have created only one more now, so that will be showing it under today's appointment, and yesterday's, and last 7 days, okay, last 30 days, all these things will be showing up accordingly. And the same, if we wanted to implement it in pictorial form, this will be very, very important requirement. So there will be something called dashboard. So if we click on dashboard, doctor can see the data in some pictorial form. Very, very important requirement. So there are 12 appointments showing up. That is, I can see number 12. And here I can see with some graph also. So 12 is the speedometer showing up. And under today's appointment, there is only one. I can see only one showing up in this half speedometer. And yesterday's, there is only one. Suppose if nurse is creating 5 more, then immediately this value has to be changed to 5, right? So nurse is creating 5 today itself, meaning under today's appointment, it has to show 5, number has to be increased, and total appointment should be increased by 5 more. Today's has to be increased by 5. Maybe after 2 days, if I check, that 5 has to be increased in this one and in this one as well. So we have to understand how to work with this kind of reporting. As I told you, this concept is called reporting. So seeing the data in some pictorial form, this is called reporting. Now I can see 2 numbers showing up in this particular graph, 2 again showing up in this particular graph. Likewise, there we can see different types of diagrams. Yesterday we have seen one pie chart, and just before we have seen one bar graphs. Now we are seeing speedometers. So n number of things will be there. Now suppose if I click on this number, then it has to be showing all the 12 appointments. So since I clicked on this number, all the 12 appointments are to be showing now. If CSR is creating 5 more, here it has to show 5 extra things also. Suppose if I click on this one, only that has to be shown. So 12 appointments should be hidden, and only the last one has to be showing. If again I click on this today's appointment and yesterday's, based on the number. So including this number is not hard coded, right? Based on my database, how many records are there, that number has to be fetched out. If I click on that number, its related data has to be opened up. How to do all these things? Very, very important. So each and every requirement what we are discussing is completely new. Yesterday we have not seen any kind of requirements. Yesterday's requirements are completely different, and these requirements are also completely different. And from tomorrow, the requirements what we discussed, that also will be completely different. So if you can do all these three projects, you'll understand uh, you get very good Pega knowledge. Fine. So in this particular screen, what doctor is doing, he is trying to check for his dashboard, and he is trying to open each and every item, and he is trying to uh, give the appointment. Fine. And there will be one more scenario, that is like if you are calling a hospital taking an appointment, and in between consider call got disconnected. I am a patient, you are nurse. Okay, so you are collecting few details from me. Maybe total there are 10 screens. Maybe in between some information or somewhere call got disconnected. What you have to do, you are supposed to call back, or if I am calling you back, you have to continue from there. So let us implement, or let us check for that also. So I am logging here as the CSR, not the doctor now. Okay, so here there will be something called my work in progress. So if I'm answering any call, suppose if I'm nurse, if you 10 people are calling me, so what is my duty? I have to get complete appointment booked for you 10 people or 20 people, whatever, how many calls we have. So all those are to be completed, and it has to be going for the doctor's appointment. Suppose in between call got disconnected, then it is my responsibility to check that should be completed. Else else that respective item is still in progress. So my work in progress meaning the thing what I have created but still not complete. So earlier scenario, one patient called me, I have completed everything and sent for the doctor, so no pending action from there for me. And suppose if another person is calling me and in between call got disconnected or something, so that is not yet completed, right? So that will be available under my work in progress. So my work in progress, so my work in progress meaning all these are I have created but not completed. So these requirements are very important. So how to implement my work in progress? And once that is, suppose this is the thing what you have called me earlier, in between call got disconnected, then I'll ask you what is the hospital number. You will say the hospital number, I'll just open that, and from there we'll continue. From there we'll continue, not from the beginning. So once I complete this, that has to be deleted. So that has to be deleted from this list here. That should be removed from this list. My work in progress meaning the tasks what are currently pending with me. There should not be any tasks pending with me. That is my responsibility as a CSR. So how to check for my work in progress? Suppose you are calling me, you are calling hospital, you are taking some appointment, in between call got disconnected. One hospital number will be created for you, right? After that, you are expecting some callback. Suppose you did not get any call. What you will do? You will call back us, right? In that scenario, maybe some other CSR can answer no. It is not like only I have to answer. Some other CSR can answer no. So in that case, you will say like, what is the hospital number. You'll say like, this is my hospital number. Earlier I'm giving some details to some person, call got disconnected, I wanted to continue. In that case, you are calling second CSR. In my work in progress, will that be there or not? It should not be, because my work in progress meaning my pending tasks. CSR's work in progress meaning his pending tasks. Correct, right? So you are earlier pending with that CSR. Now you are calling me, meaning some other person has answered. So it should not be available in my work in progress now. So it should be available in something called my group. If we just check, my group will be an option here. My group meaning, so all the available people working in our company, that will be there, list will be there. So I'll select so and so option. Then his pending items is what I can see. Okay, so this person pending item is what I can see. So if you say the hospital number, I'll search for that here as well as here, or as well as here. Accordingly, I'll open from there, and there I'll continue. So my work in progress meaning whoever has created, if it is not completed, it should be available. My group or team meaning all the available team members who are there, that should be showing up here. And there will be one more thing called get most urgent. If I click on this button, then the most urgent item has to be opened. Suppose maybe 10 people called me, and all those 10 calls are disconnected, and all these will be like pending. No, it should be under my work in progress. No, now out of those 10, 5 people are just related to dermatology related, and 3 people are something related to normal cold, and maybe one person is of related to surgery, very emergency. Now if I click on this get most urgent, then I have to open that surgery related things, most urgent related task, that has to be opened. And there I can see his mobile number. I'll call him and I'll follow up. So how to implement this get most urgent, how to implement this my work in progress, and how to implement this my group, and how to work with reporting, how to deal with the database tables, and how to implement all this UI part. Okay, all this UI part, and how to work with these kind of visibilities or validations. Each and everything is very important requirement. Everything is real time. So the examples what we are seeing today is completely different to the yesterday's. There will not be one also matching. All are new requirements yesterday, and here also all are new requirements. And from tomorrow we'll start working with banking project. So this is medical healthcare, yesterday's is insurance, and tomorrow we'll start with medical, sorry, banking. So from tomorrow everything will start with zero. So considering you don't know anything about Pega, so till now we have seen what we can do with Pega, and you did not, you doesn't know how to implement all these things. Considering you are very basic, maybe 10th standard student, from there we have to do implement all these things. So each and every point is very important. If you are from non-IT, every point is very important. And in this whole course discussion we'll talk about technical, everything Pega related, as well as we'll discuss more into process also, what you have to do on the day one. Okay, and if you get this requirement, how you have to think, what you have to do. So what is the process, what is BS tasks, what is testing team's task, what as a developer you have to do on the day one after you get the laptop, what you have to do, everything point to point we'll discuss. I'll consider each and every one, considering you don't know anything. From there only we'll start. It will not be like an hurry course. Each and every point is very important. And that too, after this 1 hour class per day, you will be loaded. Don't think like 1 hour is short time. So 1 hour will be our class duration, and after that